Hey everyone, Admiral Seabass here for Japan turn number 6. This is a really important turn for Japan. Um, they have it within reach to end this game if they play it right. They only need 6 victory cities to win, assuming the Axis hold all their capitals for one turn. Right now they have 4. They have Tokyo, Shanghai, Manila, and Hong Kong. They are knocking on the door of Honolulu, which they're going to take this turn, and Calcutta, which they might be able to take next turn. So Japan is going to stretch here and try really hard to knock out as much of this U.S. Navy here off the Aleutians as they can, and that's because the U.S. has got nothing backing that up. So Japan's going to build more Navy and Air Force in Japan this turn. Hopefully, knock out all of that, or as much of it as they can, and then follow that up with more next turn. The U.S. will not be able to attack anything Japanese here until turn 7 at the earliest. And if they can keep the U.S. at bay here with taking Tokyo, then they should be able to take and hold Honolulu and maybe take and hold Calcutta. Combine that with what's going on in the Russian front and what's going on over here, and this game could end in turn 7. What this will almost certainly do is force the Americans to try to take out Rome in fact, in the next turn here in turn 6. So this is really going to heat things up here, what Japan's going to do this particular turn. So purchases are another jet fighter and a tactical, cruiser, sub, and a destroyer, another transport, and 4 more infantry. So, and then I've got a series of non-combat moves which are going to reorient and help the Japanese expand their empire further, which I'll show you later. So, first thing I want to do is the battle in Burma, which is a big one, and I've already got it set up on the battle board here. So let me wrap my mind around this, and then we'll get started. Okay, so if you remember in UK turn 5, they took Burma back, and they brought everything they could in from Calcutta. And they have 7 infantry and a mechanized. So they're going to get 2 to 3 hits on turn 1 on average. The Japanese brought 7 of their own regular infantry and mechanized infantry. So the Japanese are really hoping that this will only last 1 round, and I think given all the offensive firepower that the Japanese are expecting to lose 2 or maybe 3 of these infantry, and they will need all those to attack Calcutta next turn. But again, if India can take Calcutta on turn 7, and the Germans can continue their assault here, and the Americans fail to take Rome, then the writing's probably on the wall for the Allies in this game. But let's see what happens here. So here's the 7 infantry and mechanized for Japan. Again, you would expect 1 hit here on average. 7 dice, 1 or less. And that's what they got. So it doesn't really matter. Well, it kind of does, I guess. So let's chip these out. And there's 1 casualty, which is about what you would expect. So there's the 1 hit. Now, we've got 6 tanks, 3 fighters, and 3 tacticals. So 1, 2, 3. That's the tanks. So we'll do the tanks and the fighters first. And then we got to roll 3 more for the tacticals. Wow, I'd say that's pretty good dice rolling by the Japanese. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 for a total of 8 hits. That's 7 more. That's it. They did it. Wow. So not only did they do it, they had some left over to spare. So now let's see what the UK can do in return. So they've got 7, 8 at 2. So 8 at 2. If you had 6 at 2, you would expect 2 hits. And 2 more, you'd expect about another hit on average. So statistics say about 3 hits here. 2 to 3 hits is what you would expect. So let's see what happens. And they got 5 hits. Way better than expected. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and one of the mechs is gone. So UK definitely rolled pretty well there. Japan did too, to be fair. But that was a world of hurt. Again, these Allied infantry making life hard. So let's come over here. Let's put those 2 on Burma. Let's take that off. Let's go get the tanks. This is probably going to make another Allied attack into Burma next turn somewhat likely. If Japan had only lost 2 ground units there, then you'd probably say that'd be too much. But now, I mean, they might risk it because Japan has really nothing else backing this up. Those 3 tanks there can go 1, 2. Those 3 tanks are 3 turns away from Burma, unless they get picked up by a transport. But even then, that's going to be tough. So, some interesting choices here to make for UK. I'm going to put these aside and be back in a second. Okay, so here's the aftermath in Burma. 6 tanks, 2 mechs. All those planes are in Burma. They got to fly home at some point. We're going to put the Japanese pie there on Burma. Going to move the FEC down to 9. The Japanese up to 26. This one is an auto kill of this transport. So we'll do that. We don't want them reinforcing India or West India from Persia. That's why we did that. Let's take this target marker off. We'll take this one off. I decided not to do that attack. This is an auto. So let's go grab a pie, and then we'll do this naval battle up here. Okay, here's a piece of pie. US down to 49, Japan up to 67. And yeah, let's do this naval battle. So let me get this set up and then we'll be back. Okay, here's the battle for Sea Zone 8 off the Aleutian Islands. Americans scrambled a fighter from the Aleutians into this battle. So we have a Japanese light cruiser here, which gets an anti-aircraft attack at those 3 planes. So here we go. Whoa! Light cruisers again having an impact on this game. The U.S. will choose the tactical and a fighter as their loss. Big roll there for the Japanese. So now they will have 3 at 2, 2 at 3, and 1 at 4. The jet fighter is at 4 for the Japanese. That was big because the Americans were going to take fighters as casualties if they needed to protect this fleet. So now let's see what Japan can do here with the rest of their units. Again, Japan doesn't really care if they lose all these. So there's 2 more hits. So the U.S. will take a damage on the carrier. And then they will lose the sub. So the U.S. gets to shoot back with 3 at 2, 1 at 3, and 1 at 4. So 3 at 2, 1 at 3, and 1 at 4. 3 at 2, 1 at 3, and 1 at 4. And there's 3 hits. So Japanese will lose these 3 units. And they will keep going. So Japanese have 2 at 3 and 1 at 4. 2 hits. So the U.S. will lose the carrier and the destroyer. So in response, the U.S. will have 2 at 2, 1 at 3, and 1 at 4, and they're looking for 3 hits. If they get 3, it's over. Wow, they got 4. Okay, so that's over. But all in all, I think the Japanese are pretty pleased there because they got more Navy coming in. This guy we'll assume he was the scramble fighter. He's going to land here anyway. This Navy is gone for Japan, so we'll put that one back over here. These transports survived as well. But you can see that once Japan plops all that stuff down on Japan, right there, that they're immediately going to have superiority over that U.S. fleet. And the U.S. has nothing backing it up. So that's why Japan did that. And I think it made tactical sense. So that is it for combat moves for Japan. So let me contemplate non-combat moves, and then I'll let you know what I did. Okay, here's my non-combat moves. Consolidate the Japanese Navy here. Fully stocked carriers. Flew the rest of the Air Force back here. Move my tanks to here. They can hit Burma. They can maybe even go over here and start harassing China. Spread out my blockers here, protecting an assault against Hawaii, protecting an assault against the Philippines here and against the Money Islands here. Anzac can still come this way and hit Java if they want to. But nothing I can do about that right now. Move these 3 up here. Yeah, I want to rethink. Should I abandon New Guinea, and maybe take those 2 guys back to here so I could counterattack here if that does happen? Yeah, I think that's a good idea. They're not doing me any good in New Guinea, so I'll take one of these transports here instead. Yeah, that's about it. So let me place units. This won't be too difficult. Everything's going in mainland Japan. So these 4 go there. Transport goes here. Jet fighter and tactical go there. And cruiser, sub, and a destroyer go there. So, and we save $3 to add to what I think is going to be a lot. So let me calculate what they're going to get, and then I'll be back. Japan's going to collect $77 because they're going to get, they have 67 plus 5 for controlling Hawaiian Islands, plus 5 for controlling all the Money Islands. That's 77, and they save 3. So Japan's going to get a cool $80. $80 for Japan. And the U.S. is going to spend 71 this turn. So even if the U.S. puts everything in the Pacific, which they might do, they are still going to be $9 short of what Japan can do. So not looking too good for the Allies right now in this game. Oh, and hang on. Japan gets wartime economy. So they're going to collect more money. How much more are they going to get? What do you guys think I'm going to roll here? Let's see. 2. That's $82 for Japan next turn. That's Japanese turn number 6. Admiral Seabass signing off.